Welcome to our channel. I'm really glad you're here. I'm Mike with Zippy Snap, and I hope we can craft a kinder, more creative world together. Today we're going to make this wonderful Valentine's message blocks. So you have messages you can put on here. So right now we have love on the message, but you could also do something like hugs, or an unintentional one is you could do hogs, which wouldn't make a lot of sense. And so you have these wonderful blocks. You also have hearts. If you want to use the hearts, you can use the hearts in there. And they're all individual letters. And then there's also some image panels. So if you want to make this a complete sunflower, you can. And there's also a flower. You can also change the base. So you just have pink, a pink texture, or a flower there. So it's a really cool craft, really enjoyable, and perfect for Valentine's Day. On the difficulty meter, I'd give this craft a 3 out of 5. That means that this is a medium craft. You can download this craft template from zippysnap.com, and the tools we're going to be using today are scissors and tape. So with those tools nearby, let's get to crafting. So there's basically, I call these dice blocks. So each one of these individual cubes, I'll call a dice. So there's 4 dice, and they line up in a row to make the words love, hugs, and rose, and then 4 hearts and the sunflower and the flower. So you have 4 dice, and then you also have on the back page the base. So there's only 3 pages. It's really pretty small craft, but it does have a little bit of difficulty because there's a lot of them. You do have the optional completion bag on the second page, so that if you want to save this, in case you have to get rid of this craft later, has an image and just something to say, hey, I created this craft. So we'll start with the first one. So we'll start by cutting out this dice block. One important thing to note is you'll see some white lines. Those are fold lines. So that's where we're going to be folding this craft. So we'll start by just cutting the block right along the images. So just kind of cut it right against the image. You don't want to have a ton of white, but you also don't want to cut too far into the image, because otherwise that will make it a little tough to make your cube. But I always enjoy this one because you can change it each day. You come downstairs and maybe someone in your house has changed the message to something different, and it allows your creativity to grow, and you get to have a lot of fun with it. So there we go. So we're almost done cutting this dice block out. And also, someone might enjoy getting this from you if you want to give them a gift for Valentine's Day. People really like getting gifts, and you can say, hey, I made this for you. I was thinking about you when I made the craft because you mean a lot to me. So we have this. So what we're going to do first is, before I start to tape or do anything, is I like to fold all the white lines in. So I'll start with the farthest one out, and we're just going to fold it right in there. And then we'll let it back out and fold the second portion. So you're trying to get at those white lines as best you can. So we got that. And then we'll now fold this side, and we'll fold those wings next, which are right here. And we have 4 dice blocks and then a base. So this is going to be kind of a little bit of a time trial. It'll take a little while. So now we have folded all of them, and I've put them back out because it's easier to put them back together here in a second. And I'm going to put the far one, so this is the one with the farthest side out, and then the short side first. I like to just line them up flat. If you can just line them up flat, you can then get a piece of tape once they're lined up flat, and just tape them right there. Because now you can push them back open anytime you want. And that's exactly what we're going to do now. So move the tape a little closer, and now on this side, so this is the side we've taped around. I'm going to go ahead, and the most important thing you do is get the tape on the edge you want first, which is a lot of times the free flap, not the taped piece. And then you're going to line this edge up kind of as best as you can. And then I like to pinch. I call it the pinch tape move. And so you can pinch it right there, and then we're going to do the same on this side here. We're going to come and just make sure your edges are lined up. And then we're going to do a pinch move. And now we have a dice block. You can always put additional tape on the edges, but since I don't leave these up too long, I'll just do it like that. And that's actually pretty sturdy right there. You don't need to use a lot of tape. So let's go ahead and do another one so you kind of can get a hang of it. So this is our dice cube 2. So if you don't put them up in the correct direction, they won't make the images just quite right or their words quite right. So you may want to make sure you remember which dice is dice 1, 2, 3, and 4. Otherwise, it'll take you a little while to figure out how to put these back together. And the easiest way to put them back together is look at the sunflower, put it all to the sunflower side, since the dice blocks together create the image of the sunflower. So it should only have one way to put the image to make the sunflower image. So if you get the dice blocks confused or mixed up, it's not a big deal. All right. And there's our second one, so we'll set that aside. Again, what we're going to do is, I'm starting a little different, and like there's really no wrong way to do it, do a craft. So I went with the short side first, and now I'm going with the long side. And just giving it a little fold. And it doesn't have to be the best fold, because these folds aren't going to be, they're 90-degree folds, which means they're standing at a right angle. So like this, and so they're not trying to stay full flat the whole time. So that's why it's okay to not fold them too tightly. And then again, if you missed it last time, we're going to just line these two pieces up until you think they're about in the right place. And I'm just holding them flat. It's easier to do it as they're flat. Otherwise, it's really hard. And I don't like to do it this way by putting it on this tape piece, because it's a little harder to, what can happen is when you do that, this image pushes in, and it's really hard to get that image out if it's the second one and the side's already taped on. So I always like to do the free image first, make sure it's real good on there. And then, again, we're going to try and get that image lined up as best we can. Pinch it, and do the same on this side. So get it on this side real good first. Come in there, make sure we're in good spot, pinch it, and there's our second dice block. It's pretty cool. All right, we got two more. I don't always do all of the crafts to completion, but for this one, I'll go ahead and do it just because those dice blocks can be a little bit difficult. So we'll do it together. So we're cutting the second dice block. You can also cut all your dice blocks and then put them together, but then you'll forget which one's the first dice block, which one's the second dice block. So that's why I'm doing one by one. It's kind of like an assembly line if you cut them all the first time. So there we go. All right, yeah. There we go. It's looking good. Okay. And we'll fold right here. And fold right there. Fold this one. Fold that one. And fold that one. Maybe you have a favorite image. Let me know if you like the sunflower image, the flower image, which one was your favorite, or just the pink background. I always like to hear from you guys. Also appreciate if you subscribe to my channel. Helps me keep creating crafts for you guys. They're free, so it doesn't cost any money to subscribe. And there's our other dice block. So that's dice block 3. And let's go ahead and do the fourth dice block. I just call them dice because they look a lot like dice. You can call them cubes if you want. Get the tape out of the way. Sometimes I have a hard time getting it right lined up with where I want it. If you ever have a hard time with your scissors while you're cutting, like keeping control of it, the easiest part of your scissor to keep control is your top portion. So if you just do real small cuts like this, you'll have a lot more control. So these are just very small cuts, and they're up towards the top part of your scissors. So that's how you get control if you're having trouble having control of where you're cutting. I've done this a while, so I can use the lower part of my scissor too and get it pretty much where I want the cut to be, which is what makes me go a little bit quicker than some people. And you may say, wow, you're really cutting slow. So that's also possible. I might cut slower than some. I cut at my speed. And you can cut at your speed, that's okay. Alright, so we'll start folding here. There we go. And we're not doing super duper folds. We're just kind of getting it so it'll bend a little. We don't want it to bend too much. Alright, there we go. And then again, It's pretty much the only rule I really stick to, is I like to stick those two together like that. And just gets, if you get that first tape on there real good, everything just gets a little bit easier. And there's that second one. And third piece of tape. It doesn't really take a lot of tape to make these little dice. If you like making these structures, one other craft I would recommend to you is we have a calendar craft as part of our rainbow series. There's a cube calendar, which you can do all the months and all the days, and you can change it every day. It's my favorite craft. One of my favorite crafts I've done. It's pretty much the same type of craft here that we're doing. Why I like it is I get to change the date every single morning and keep the calendar, and those are really easy craft to do. It's very similar to this. And by easy, I mean it was a little challenge, but once you did it, it lets you kind of see what you can do with paper and tape. And I'd love to see your creations of what you create. If you create something special, or if you want me to do something on the channel, let me know. Try to make all the crafts have some easy portions, have a little bit more complicated portions, so that way you can keep building your skill level up. Some may be a little hard, some may be easier for you, and they may all be easy for you. Alright, this is the same. This is just a longer cube, effectively. So basically, we're just going to do the same fold. So I'm starting with the farthest side, as you can see, even though it doesn't look quite like the cubes. It is the exact same way we did the cube. It's just wider. So it's more of a rectangular size, not a square. And then we'll fold these sides. Always remember fold these sides. If you don't fold them and you tape first, it gets a lot harder to do these together. Alright, and now this one, we're going to put one piece of tape here, but we're going to have to do multiple because this is much longer. So we line those sides up, and I just was checking those left and right sides. And I'm going to put 3 pieces of tape, one on each edge and then one in the middle. So those are the 2 edges and the middle. And then same on the top here, we're going to put this one, line it up, pinch. And same on this side, we're going to line it up and pinch, and now you have your cube. So you can now stack them. So like I was mentioning, so if you want to do that sunflower, go in there in this direction. Hopefully that's it. I think that was it. I believe that was it. There you go. So you do a sunflower instead of letters, so that's pretty nifty. Or you could do, we had rose was one of our letters, so you can do rose. So you see rose. Oh, I did it backwards. I was thinking something was quite off. Rose. So there you go. So that's our Valentine's message block craft. Thank you so much for crafting with me today. I hope it brought you joy and helped your creativity grow. Always remember that you matter and you are valued. I look forward to creating our next craft together very soon. Goodbye.